Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive.
Yeah.
I am so excited for this one because, you know me, I love a good routine.
Who doesn't love a routine, right?
Exactly. And today, we're going to be doing a deep dive all about describing daily routines in English.
Awesome.
So if you are prepping for a trip or you're brushing up on your language skills, this is going to be a great deep dive for you. We're going to be looking at an English lesson
Interesting.
that is structured like an English lesson, I should say, that teaches you all about how to describe daily routines in English. So we're
Yeah.
going to be looking at some of the vocabulary involved, some of the grammar involved, and even some practice exercises. So I think it'll be a fun one.
Yeah, it's fascinating to me because you wouldn't think that describing routines would be that exciting or interesting, but it really kind of gives a little window into someone's life and maybe even their priorities, like what's important to them.
Right, or what kind of person they are. Are they a morning person or a night owl? Yeah, so I think it'll be interesting to see, like, how these routines can actually reveal a little bit about someone's personality.
I think so too.
So how do we get started with all of this routine describing?
Well, I think the place to start is with the tools, right?
Okay.
So any good adventure needs the right tools.
I like that.
And in this case, the tools are words.
Oh, okay.
Vocabulary. So the source material for this deep dive starts us off with some really essential verbs. These are like, the action words that make up any good routine.
The backbone of a routine.
The backbone. Yeah, exactly.
So we're talking about, like, wake up, get up, brush teeth, have breakfast.
Yeah, and the lesson actually has these teachers, Sharo and Isabella.
Oh, yeah, I love them.
I know, right?
They're so great.
They're so fun, and they're actually acting out these verbs.
That's so cool.
So it's not just like a list of words, wake up, get up. It's like Sharo's yawning dramatically, when he says wake up, or Isabella's like, really scrubbing her teeth for brush teeth.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love
Yes.
it. I'm picturing it now.
It's so fun.
And you know what? I think it really does make a difference because you actually remember those verbs. When you're thinking of someone acting them out, it's like they jump off the page.
Exactly. They become memorable.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not just memorizing a word. It's like,
Okay.
okay, I can picture that. I can really imagine that.
Right. You make a connection with it.
Yeah, definitely. And then you need to make a connection with them grammatically because it's not just individual words, right?
Right.
You have to string these words together into sentences.
Right. That's where the grammar comes in.
Oh, here we go.
I know. Grammar.
But don't worry, this one's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
The present simple tense is what this lesson is all about. And, for all the hype that surrounds grammar, the present simple tense is really very simple, at least when we're talking about routines, because it's things that you do regularly, habitually. You wake up every morning, you brush your teeth every morning, you have breakfast, you go to work. These are the things that make up your day.
Right. It's the rhythm of your day.
It's the rhythm of your day. And so the present simple really captures that.
It does.
Okay, so if I wanted to tell someone about my morning routine, I would use this present simple tense.
You got it.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it, but I have a confession. I'm not always the best at getting up on time. Sometimes I hit the snooze button a few times. Yeah. Okay, maybe several times before I actually get out of bed.
Sure.
But does that still work with the present simple tense?
Absolutely. It does because it's about what you habitually do.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be perfectly timed, So the lesson gives a few examples like I wake up early.
Okay.
They go to school.
They go to school.
Mhm.
I wake up eventually.
Exactly.
Eventually I get there.
You get there.
Okay, so it's not about the specific time. It's about the habit that you do every day.
Right. The regular occurrence.
Okay. I'm feeling a little bit more confident with this present simple thing, but I do have another question about it.
Okay.
Don't tenses change?
Yeah.
Like, depending on who's doing the action, like I versus they or he or she.
You're right. They do. There are some subtle shifts there.
Good.
But don't worry. We're going to untack all of that.
Okay, good.
We'll get to those details.
I'm glad you're here to guide me through this.
Happy to do it.
So before we get into those verb-changing details, I want to go back to Sharo and Isabella for a minute.
Okay.
Because they each share their own daily routines in this lesson, right? As like examples.
They do.
Yes, and I thought it was really interesting because they actually reveal something about their personalities, I feel like.
Yes. And that's what makes it fun, I think.
Yes.
It's not just like a textbook example,
Right.
So Sharo seems like a pretty relaxed guy.
Okay.
He likes to have his coffee in the morning. He likes to read the newspaper.
Very zen.
Very zen, very chill.
Mm.
Isabella, on the other hand, is all about family time. She's having breakfast with her family.
Yeah.
So, you kind of get to know them a little bit just from hearing about what their day is like.
I love it. Okay, so I'm picturing like Sharo is like very relaxed, sipping his coffee, reading his newspaper, and Isabel's bustling around making sure everyone's got their breakfast and ready for the day.
I love it.
It's like, I can really see them.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And I think it really does just highlight, like, how language is about so much more than just grammar rules. It's about, like, really connecting with people
Absolutely.
and sharing yourself.
Absolutely.
I love that. Okay. But enough observing. I say it's time to put what we've learned into action.
Okay, let's do it.
So this lesson that we're looking at has some practice exercises, and I'm ready to tackle them. Are you?
Let's do it.
Okay. So let's see what we're dealing with here. The first exercise is all about filling in the blanks with the correct present simple verb forms.
Okay.
So you'll get sentences like, she's blank wakes up at 6 a.m. every day,
Okay.
but you have to know which form of wake up to use.
Right.
And this is where those verb changes come in, right?
Exactly. And this is where it gets really important to pay attention to those subtle shifts.
Okay, lay it on me.
All right. So when you're talking about he, she, or it, you're going to add an S or an E to the base form of the verb.
Okay.
So instead of just wake up, it becomes wakes up.
Okay, got it. So she wakes up at 6 a.m. every day.
You're good.
Okay, it's all about those little details.
It is.
But what if I was talking about myself? I wake up.
Exactly. So when you're using I, you, we, or they, you just use the base form of the verb. No need to add the S or E.
Okay, this is starting to make sense. Now it's all about who's doing the action and tweaking the verb accordingly.
Exactly.
Okay, I think I can tackle the rest of these fill in the blanks. What about you?
I think you can.
All right, listeners, it's your turn. Grab a pen and paper or open up your notes app and get ready to flex those present simple muscles. We'll be back in a jiffy to check your answers and move on to the next exciting exercise.
Have fun.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. How did those fill in the blanks go? Are you feeling like present simple pros yet?
I hope so.
I hope so too, because we've got another exercise coming your way from the source material.
Yeah, that's right. This time it's a matching game.
Ooh, a matching game. I love a good matching game.
This one's going to test both your vocabulary and your understanding of, like, the flow of a typical day.
Okay, so what are we matching up exactly?
Well, on one side, you've got daily activities, so things like have lunch, wake up, go to bed. And then on the other side, you have times. So like A, 7 a.m., B, 12:30 p.m., C, 10 p.m. And your job is to connect each activity with the most logical time.
So it's like a logic puzzle, but with everyday routines.
Exactly.
That's cool.
And as you're doing this, you can even kind of visualize your own day, right? Like, okay, when do I usually have lunch?
Right, or when do I wake up and go to bed and that sort of thing.
Exactly. It makes you think about not just like memorizing the words, but like how these actions actually fit into the framework of a day.
I like it. And, there might be some variation depending on like your own lifestyle and your schedule. Some people are early birds, some people are night owls.
Absolutely.
But for the sake of this exercise, let's just try to think about like a general routine. All right, listeners, time to put on your thinking caps. Pause us for a minute and see if you can match up those activities and times.
Yeah, don't overthink it. Just trust your instincts and have fun.
Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you had some fun with that matching game.
Me too.
Are you ready to see how you did?
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's start with have lunch. Now, most people wouldn't be having lunch at 7 a.m. or 10 p.m., right?
Probably not.
So that leaves us with B, 12:30 p.m., the perfect midday meal time.
Perfect.
And then I'm sure you all got wake up and A, 7 a.m.
Yeah, that was an easy one.
Pretty standard wake up time for a lot of people.
Right.
Although, if you're an early bird, you might have a different time in mind.
For sure.
And then that leaves us with go to bed at C, 10 p.m.
Makes sense.
I have to say my go to bed time is definitely not 10 p.m.
Oh, no.
More like midnight, but
But for this exercise, 10 p.m. works.
yeah, we'll go with 10 p.m.
We'll keep it traditional.
Keep it traditional. It's funny, though, how just like seeing those times written out and those activities written out, it really makes you think about your own routine.
It does.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 exercises down. I feel like we have already covered so much ground. We've learned key verbs. We've tackled the present simple tense. We've thought about like the timing of those daily actions.
Yeah, we've really gotten into the nitty-gritty.
We've even gotten a glimpse into the lives of Sharo and Isabella,
Right.
our teachers from the source material,
Those are my favorites.
and how their routines reflect their personality.
Right. Sharo with his coffee and his newspaper.
Right, and Isabella and her family breakfast.
Yeah.
It just shows how, like, even something as simple as describing your daily routine can be a way of, like, sharing yourself with the world.
It really is.
But the source material doesn't stop there. It challenges us to take what we've learned and wait for it, actually write our own routine descriptions.
Dun, 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 dun.
Challenges on
I know, right? So can you take all these verbs and time expressions and that present simple magic and weave it into your own description of your day?
Think of it like painting a picture with words, but
Yeah.
instead of a landscape or a portrait, you're painting a picture of your everyday life.
Right. And don't worry, they give you a sample routine in the lesson so you can kind of get started.
Oh, that's helpful.
Yeah. They have a basic framework. So they say things like, I wake up at 6 a.m., I get ready and have breakfast. Then I go to work at 8 a.m. in the evening. I have dinner and watch TV. I go to bed at 10:30 p.m.
Okay, so it's very straightforward.
Easy to understand.
Easy to understand, but it tells you something about the person's day.
Exactly.
Okay, and I know what you might be thinking. My routine isn't that interesting.
Right.
But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't.
The goal here is not to have the most exciting routine in the world. It's about accurately and effectively communicating what you do every day in English.
Right. Using the tools that we've been talking about.
Exactly. So are you ready to give it a try?
I am.
Okay, grab your notebooks or open up a document and take a few minutes to jot down your own routine description. Remember, there's no pressure to be perfect. Just focus on using those verbs that present simple tense. And those time expressions that we've been talking about. Have fun with it. Let your personality shine through, and we'll be right back to share some bonus tips and wrap things up. Welcome back, everyone. How'd that go? Did you have fun writing those descriptions?
I hope so.
Yeah, it's really cool, I think, how much you can communicate in just a few sentences, you know.
Absolutely.
But we're not quite done yet. We have one more little trick up our sleeve before we wrap things up.
One more. Yeah, writing is great, but speaking these routines out loud takes things to a whole other level.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
It's like stepping onto the main stage after you've been practicing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the source material had another helpful suggestion that I thought was really cool. It encourages you to actually practice saying your routine out loud,
Yes.
not just writing it down.
You're going to get those speaking muscles working.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you might feel a little silly, talking to yourself about brushing your teeth and having breakfast.
Right.
But I think it makes a big difference.
It does, because you're getting those words out of your head and actually using them.
Right. And if you're not quite ready to go solo yet, the source material even suggests repeating after Cheryl and Isabella as they say their routines out loud.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it's like you have your own personal language coaches right there with you.
I love that idea.
So they might say something like, I wake up at 7 a.m., I brush my teeth and have breakfast, then I go to work.
Simple.
Simple, clear, perfect for practicing your pronunciation.
Yeah, I can hear them cheering us on. I wake up.
I know. I love them. Okay, so we've explored the vocabulary, we've mastered the present simple, we've practiced writing, and now we're even speaking those routines out loud.
I'd say we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We really have.
But before we let you go, we have one final thought-provoking question for you to ponder.
Okay, here it is. Now that you have all these tools at your disposal, think about your own daily routine. Is there one element, one little quirk or habit that you could describe in English that would surprise or intrigue someone?
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, think about it.
So it could be anything, right? Like
Right.
maybe you have a special morning ritual or a unique way of making coffee or a funny thing your pet does every day.
Right, exactly. It's about taking these language skills and infusing them with your own personality, your own unique perspective.
Yeah, this is where you can really let your creativity shine through.
Absolutely.
And remember, this deep dive was just the beginning. Keep practicing, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep having fun with the language.
So true.
Who knows what other exciting adventures await you out there in the world of English.
Until next time, happy learning.
Keep diving deep, everyone.